Alrighty. Um, what up? I kind of want to just I don't actually know if I'm gonna be able to review all this right now. I kind of just wanted to try because I listened to some of it. It was interesting, but and it's always fun to listen to a guy spurred for a few minutes. So I want to listen to this. I slept way too long. I slept all fucking night almost by accident, and I just wanted to do something before I actually go to bed. I'm about to in about a few hours. I want to listen to this. I'm gonna play some Hollow Knight after. Yeah, and what this is Voltaire and Emmett talking about relationships, and then the most one of the most based women I've ever heard come in and talk about it. But I do kind of agree and disagree with both sides from what I've listened to. But ultimately, well, we'll get into it.
Not when you are choosing a person.
Wait, what?
When you're
You,
choosing a
you don't
person
think that
to
you should be able to
date,
choose a person who actually makes oughts that are better for
that
yourself and for the
I
relationship than those two ones are?
What they're talking about right now is, um, ought you as a woman, or ought you not as just a woman, but ought you spend money on things, which is kind of a to be consistent with it, ought you buy things? Ought you buy things in which give you some sort of, I guess, pleasure or satisfaction? Ought you buy these things that are unnecessary to provide you something that's not like direct survival? When you get into this mode of thinking of where you should only spend things on that are based on your survival, once you do this, you'll find out that you're completely inconsistent yourself when you're trying to criticize other and what they spend. For instance, if you spend money on video games and you should only purchase things that are intelligent or good for your own personal survival. What does that mean? Well, that means that um, you shouldn't be buying video games. You shouldn't be buying books. You shouldn't be buying anything really except for food and a tent, maybe a tent. I mean, if you could find somewhere like a cave, then technically that would be more consistent to live in a cave under that logic. But I mean, this is honestly why the cynics are kind of based. But anyways,
Willing to frivolously spend things?
you can say that, but it doesn't mean anything. You
I'm
understand that
not
part?
saying.
I mean, to be completely and logically consistent with, you ought not buy things for no reason other than survival, or you ought not buy things that are frivolous and silly to own. To be consistent, you should just find a jar, a big ass jar or something, and sleep in it and piss on the ground and shit like Diogenes did. Like, you have to do a lot to be consistent with that.
I'm just saying
You
I'm
can't
asking.
just say, "Well, that one thing is actually really bad." How? If somebody can afford to pay for it, how is it bad? You want a Bugatti and you can afford to buy the Bugatti. There's nothing logically inconsistent with having and purchasing the Bugatti. Nothing wrong with it in that sense.
Asking a question
Okay, you can say this. It's
then.
when I say that it's preference based, is that it depends on what you prefer. That's the only thing that matters in this specific case.
In a relationship,
Right. And within relationship cases, if somebody is spending money and you have the money to purchase it, then yeah, it's ultimately just preference based. You could disagree with it, but ultimately, what does it matter?
that's the only thing that matters, though.
When you're choosing someone, yes. When you're choosing someone, I would recommend you. There's recommendations, But there's even the church wouldn't say you cannot do X, right?
What if? Well, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to argue against this now.
Except
To me,
obviously
it's so
like
nonsensical. Like, to me, it's nonsensical. Like, it's like if if you go, if you want some woman and you guys all agree, and then all of a sudden she's like, hey, I want to spend money on a fucking Bugatti because I have the money on it. It's like, how can you justify that that's a good
we're
idea?
talking about first dates, right? This is
Right. And this is, it kind of like escalates from first date to what is happening in a marriage. Obviously, if you have a boyfriend or if you have a girlfriend that makes a lot of money and she wants to spend her money on whatever she wants, there's nothing you can say and you have any sort of justification for criticism there. Nothing there. Granted, if you're, so these are two separate things. If within a relationship, if you have a marriage that is, and yeah, when you're in a marriage, then it's ultimately up to the man, but it's still a conversation that happens. The people get this confused where ultimately, you know, at the end of the day, who has to make the decision when both of you completely disagree? Obviously, it has to be the man. That's his duty to do that. That's his duty to the family. But when you're talking about boyfriend girlfriend shit, like this isn't. It's not the same shit. Not anywhere near the same shit. Hey, Emmett.
it's a Dawn of War, Mister. Um,
Wait,
This is-
how is it
this
a
is-
first date? How are we talking about first dates?
We're
when
talking about first
when now we're
dates.
arguing. How are we talking about first dates when we're talking about she wants to buy something after we've already been together?
No. This is the first day. Let's say that she comes over to your house and
Alright,
she's
sure,
like, "Get
sure.
up, babe. I have a
Let's fucking
Bugatti." It's
concede-
like,
let's
you're gonna be like, "Oh
let's
no,
concede
I'm not
that
gonna get into the
let's
Bugatti because
concede
it's."
that this is the first date.
If I'm gonna be honest, if I was dating somebody and they bought a Bugatti, I'd be like, "Holy shit! I've never seen one. This is cool." Yeah, I don't think that I would be like, I wouldn't be arguing with the person over the fact that they spent their money how they decided to. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna fucking, piety signal and say, "Oh man, you know how many homeless shelters you could have." Why would I do that? That makes no sense. Ultimately, uh, when you earn your own money, you should be able to decide how you spend it. I don't understand like how that tracks in. I mean, he's just kind of skipping forward and kind of, to me, avoiding the conversation that's happening to try to go into something where he feels like he is more grounding, where he could criticize something like that. But I don't really. Anyways, we'll just keep going.
If she wants to fucking say that I want to buy a fucking new Bugatti, I'd be like, you're fucking retarded. Like, you could spend so much money on
why?
anything else.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because why would anybody spend money on that? It doesn't even make
Because
sense.
they want to.
Yeah, but you could want to fucking fuck other women. You could want to be a coomer. You could want to be anything in your whole fucking life.
The only question that
Right, and within that, you would have to justify why being a coomer is okay. Within this conversation that's happening, the justification isn't just that the person would want to; it's that they earn the money, they work for that money, they've invested in this. They should be able to spend the money how they think is right. Whether or not you think it's right doesn't matter. It's not your money to decide on how it's spent. And even within that, as you keep going in deeper logically within that argument, ultimately what happens is your position becomes more inconsistent because ultimately what Voltaire is arguing for is communism and complete economic control. Why should anybody have money? The state should have the authority because they could decide what it's best spent on in society. You can't, once you go down that trail, it leads to a bunch of shit that I think he would disagree with eventually. So to be completely logically consistent in his argument, he'd have to say a lot of shit that I don't think he'd want to say. Ultimately, if you want to be reasonable and rational and as consistent and pick the most consistent argument that could be as reasonable as possible. You would say this person earned that, they worked for that. We should reward people for doing these hard types of jobs that do pay out a massive amount of money. Why would you within that they should be able to spend that money that they earned how they want to. Okay.
Pertains to you at that point is whether, like, in fact, you have no say in that case. You have no say. If she goes on and buys a Bugatti because she wants to, you have no say. It's not your money to be deciding over, and it's not your woman to be deciding what she does with her money either. You don't have a say.
And I think maybe this might be where he gets confused. When I hear the term "your woman," I assume that means your wife. I agree with them up until a person is married. Up until then it becomes a hierarchical system where the man is the patriarch. And to some extent, yeah, he does have a say. Now, if it gets to the point where the two people are arguing and it has to come down to one final decision at the end of it, yeah, at the very end of it, who has the say? The husband has the say. But within just like girlfriend, boyfriend shit, no, that's not how it works. And even then, just because a man has the ultimate say does not mean like there wouldn't be, an argument or somewhat of a debate.
Want to be with this woman?
Yeah, that's the only say you have is like, do I want to be with this woman? That's the only thing you can say.
Yeah, within dating, that's the only say that you have, whether or not you're going to pursue this person. Now, you could say that maybe if they're spending money on these things, that wouldn't be something that you want to have an argument about later on if that was going to continue to occur. But I don't think that ultimately, but that doesn't mean that you have a say on how the money is spent.
That's all I'm saying, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
This is, like, her idea of her spending is just stupid compared to what I want and why this.
The man has the ultimate say, but ultimately it shouldn't have to get that far. Yeah, I get that, but there are occasions where within marriage that sometimes it does get to that place. But yeah, if it's about a fucking car, it's probably not going to get to that point. I mean, ultimately, if the family has the money to spend on it, and this is something that ultimately would be what I'm saying is it's not black and white. I mean, there are things that can be purchased within the family that are just for reasons that you want it because it provides some sort of satisfaction to the person that wants it. I don't think that it ultimately matters if there is enough money to buy a Bugatti. Then buy a Bugatti and go to church. As long as if you're using that Bugatti to go to church, cool. that would be ultimately what I would say.
But it will be your preference, right? It's again your preference.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there might be the case that it might be the case that a guy is like, yeah, I absolutely adore this woman and I want her and I think she's awesome and I think it's amazing, and I'm gonna go ahead and do whatever it needs to be necessary for me to
be like,
do
don't
it.
do that, man. Emmett, don't do it.
Why not?
Don't fucking marry that.
Yeah,
don't fucking marry Emmett.
If okay, the only reason I would think you would say that is if for example, let's say that the person doesn't have the means and it's living beyond its means in a death spiral. Okay, fine. I think that will be bad. But if the person has money and is willing to use the money whatever he wants, like, why would it be a disqualifier?
Okay. I'll give you. So, like, NBA players, like hockey players, all this stuff, they overspend.
There's not much I can add to really what Emmett's saying, and I've already kind of forgotten. But in marriage, it's different because you can talk about it and take the interest of the family into account. Yeah. I used your argument, got the billionaire buying the Bugatti because they worked hard and it incented to prompt the job. incentive for people to do that. Yeah, it's incentive. Ultimately, making money is the incentive to do hard jobs or high skill intensity jobs. You have to be able to have a society which can allow these people to exist. Otherwise, and even within that, there's still going to be a shortage within those fields, because if there's not a shortage, there's not going to be a high pay incentive for those people to do that. But and then you can see that happening within places like that have Medicare for or healthcare for all, or things like that. You can see that happening in places like Canada and in a lot of places in Europe. If you're only going to pay these people a set amount because you think that that's what they should make and that they shouldn't be doing it for money, then what you're going to have is maybe more ethical people wanting to provide that service, but ultimately what you're going to have is way less people because if you're trying to enforce an ethical system based on amount of people that you need, it's not going to work very well. I think ultimately that's not even the place within an economic system, is to derive ethics through it, because what do you do when you do that? You ultimately have a really skewed and fucked up ethical system like communism, which doesn't separate the economic system from the ethical system to that extent. Ultimately, it's not the government's job to decide the ethics of the nation. It's the church's job. So if you were to have a really good economic system and a good ethic foundation, then naturally that whole system becomes ethical from the church up. But the economic system itself cannot be the grounding for the system itself. What up, Brandon? I mean, yeah, maybe I could be talked out of a Bugatti with the promise of I don't even know how to pronounce that. Well, I mean, shit, I'm not a billionaire, but do y'all think I would do a retarded job if I wasn't making good money? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think the church would say a billionaire don't buy a Bugatti because it's immoral. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to go down that whole trail of like you should only spend your money in moral ways, then you shouldn't have you shouldn't have a house that is beyond what is required within like the means of keeping you out of the rain and shit. You should only at that point you should only have a tent. You should only have a place that would be able to keep your family safe. You should just barricade yourself around a tent. And you shouldn't have video games. You shouldn't have a lot of things at that point. So it's not a good way of thinking about how you should spend your money within a societal sense. Yeah, you should live in a box, pretty much. That's the ultimate end of that kind of logical trail. You should just live in a box.
They spend more than their means and they end up being bankrupt. So wouldn't it like if you're trying to if you're trying to date this person and I say, you know what, Bugatti is not the great idea, would you not at least agree with that?
You hot shit in the woods.
Agree with that? Like maybe you shouldn't be spending money on things that
yeah, ultimately you should not have money. That's
I'm gonna be honest.
and yeah, ultimately you should not have money. And that's kind of the communistic socialist type of way of thinking about it. Is you should not have money. We should have your money because we'll spend it better.
Bro, nobody needs a Bugatti.
It's not your preference. It's not for you to say. It's not for you to say what they need or what they don't need.
But you know what people need and you know what people don't need. And nobody needs a new...
No, nobody knows what anybody needs or don't need. Because ultimately, only the individual can know what they need or don't need. And this isn't a needs argument. If it's a needs argument, then you don't need video games. You don't need a house with electricity. You don't need plumbing. You ought shit in the woods.
Maybe they need a
brand new Bugatti.
Okay.
They need a brand new Bugatti?
Yes,
they need a brand new Bugatti, bro. Why do they need that?
Because they need that? It might be the case that this person is in a very high position. For example, a a CEO, and he is going to go to a specific event that he needs to be in a high-end car because of the social
can't
status.
you can't lease one out.
He's making 50 million a year. What does he care?
Because you don't need to pay that much for a car.
Oh god, again, he it's not much for him. He can do whatever he wants with his money.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think that ultimately what's happening here is he's confusing need and to be logically, once again, logically consistent with need. And yeah, a lot of people have things they don't need. You could go to fucking Africa and find a bunch of people having stuff that they don't need. There could be a tribe somewhere in the fucking rainforest that has stuff they don't need. It's not, there's the need part, uh, and ultimately, yeah, you don't know what people innately need. I mean, the whole trail just reaches to you ought shit in the woods. You ought wipe your ass with a pine cone. You ought like I mean, there's a lot of things that are entailed within that argument that I don't think he would agree with.
It's not much for people when they spend a lot on a bunch of different things, though.
In this case specifically, it wouldn't be much for him, would it?
It would, yeah, but depends on how much it is for each individual person. Like,
I'm gonna skip along a little bit because it just kind of becomes a circle.
You have to care about if they have enough to eat. That's all you have to care about. If they
I think that like it's the arguments you were trying to make weren't equal. Like a person, like say your girl goes and buys a Bugatti, that's not the same argument as her wanting to pay for a nice date to go do something. Like maybe she's a fan of Gordon Ramsay, she's watched his show for 10 years and she's like, man, I would really like to go and have this experience, taste this food. I really want to see like what this is about.
Yeah, and within that too, like I agree that for the most part, probably the majority of the dates should be paid for by the man. But ultimately, if you're in an imbalance financially, and this is something she's going to do, she wants to do, and she wants to do it with you, why wouldn't you go? I don't understand how that would logically track. I mean, ultimately, I think within early parts of relationship, pre-marriage, what these things are about are having experiences of which draw you closer together. I don't ultimately think that, you know, that it's a good idea to go into it that you're going to only do things that you would do within married life. Within married life, yeah, things are going to be different. They're going to be children. They're going to be different responsibilities that these things can't happen in, and that you should be spending money on your children and their well-being and educational needs, or even their, maybe they want to learn, I don't know, how to play a guitar. Yeah, those are different things that you would spend money on. But ultimately, if it's just you and the other person, then all you have is experiences that draw you closer together. You always go for magnolia leaves. They are thicker and have wider surface area. Yeah, you got to be careful too, because if you are shitting in the woods and you're just grabbing leaves, this is why I say probably the pine cone would be the most efficient thing, because pine cones are going to be consistent overall. If you grab leaves, you might accidentally grab the wrong the wrong leaf, and you're going to have a bad time.
I really don't see a problem with that. And if she can afford it, or let's say maybe she's saved up for it and she wants to experience that with you because she loves you, then why is that a problem? I would kind of see that even as almost like a gift. Like an experience can be a gift. Buying someone tickets to a sporting event or a concert, it's a gift.
An experience being a gift, yeah, sure, but that's now your what constitutes an experience? Like, fucking.
Well, it was just explained. The experience is she likes Gordon Ramsay and she saved up to go to this thing, and maybe she knows that, or maybe it's just something that she was planning and decided, I want to include this other person in it, then that's the point of the whole thing, is the experience of going to see something she enjoys and she wants you to be a part of it.
Eating food from a pie.
I would say
All right, so pine cones are too scratchy. Yeah, but you don't need it to you don't need it to not be scratchy. Your ass is going to look like hamburger meat after those pine cones. Well, you should get a tougher asshole. You should be stronger. You need to be stronger. I just don't understand why he didn't get the preference based argument. Yeah, I don't think he understood. Uh, I don't think he understood the idea of. I think he's just miscategorizing what he's actually talking about. He's talking about needs, preferences, and economic benefits. He's like rolling all this stuff into one thing. And I can kind of get what he's trying to say, but to be consistent with what he's saying, it requires a lot more than what he's entailing. The pine cones, it requires shitting in the woods and wiping your ass with pine cones. I'm sensitive. Yeah, well, I mean, you still, if you need, what you need is a pine cone. That's ultimately what the need is. You've got to build up callus on your asshole. But yeah, if you're gonna live off need, then you should have a calloused asshole.
going to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant is considered an experience.
Yeah, so is throwing your money into the wind. That's an experience. All of your money, like millions of dollars, just being like, yeah.
Yeah, throw millions of dollars up in the air and see what kind of people catch it. I mean, and even within that, you could say that there is a need to throw money in the air. Maybe you're Oughtaire in fucking Assassin's Creed 2, or is that no? I think is Oughtaire 1. No, Ezio is 2. Oughtaire is 1. So maybe you're Oughtaire and you're trying to escape from an attempt on someone's life, and you need to throw money in the air to get away. So you can make a need argument for that.
Everyone would be like, wow, look.
Pine cones are shaped too suspiciously to be in that area. I mean, we're moving on.
Look at the money go away. Look at, like, we're experiencing that, all that money going away.
You listen to what I said. I said maybe she's saved up for it, or maybe she's just rich. But the point is that she wanted to do that with you. So she made arrangements to do that with you. I'm not saying a woman should pay for every date. I've paid for very few dates in my life. Like, I don't want to, but I would. And if it was something that I wanted to do, and let's say the guy couldn't afford it, then I wouldn't care to do it, because I am very financially stable.
And I think ultimately what is the dating, what is part of dating? Dating, I think, is ultimately two people trying to find out whether or not they're compatible. And how do you do that? You put yourselves in experiences where both people kind of show what that relationship would be like. So, should a woman pay for all the days? No, I don't even think the woman should pay for the majority of the days. I think ultimately that, and I guess it depends. Like, if there's an experience that you want the other person to be a part of, then yeah, that person should pay for that date. And I think ultimately, if you're looking at what is perfect and what would be preferable and what society should do in the majority of the time, then the man should be pursuing the woman. The woman should not necessarily be pursuing anyone. The man should be pursuing the woman. So within that, the man has a responsibility to, societally speaking, to pay for all the days, or the majority of them.
In your scenario, is it a joint custody, or you have like a joint bank account, or you have?
Are you married? Are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
I mean, in this, not you, but like in this scenario, like what you're asking me.
Yes,
Am I?
well, I'm married, so that's the understanding from my
Well, then
part
it
of
should
it.
be joint. It should be joint banking.
So to me, like if my wife wants to fucking spend this amount of money for a dinner, I think that's ridiculous. Even if she wants to have it with us
Does she
both,
does
even
she
though I
contribute?
fucking
I think what you're not like considering is that does she contribute to the bank account? I think that makes a difference.
of course she contributes to the bank account.
Well,
But
then if she,
we should both be able to contribute to the outcomes of the bank account.
okay,
And
so then
if she wants
I
to,
think that
let's say,
so we started this conversation as like a first date scenario, or
Right, and I think that's where things are getting kind of confused. And even within like the idea that yes, she contributes to the bank account. Yeah, everybody contributes everything towards the household. Providing is not solely a male's job. Providing is because even within the idea of providing towards a household, that's not um necessarily solely the person's job. You could make the argument that it's equally both the responsibility of providing towards the house. If one person cannot in an economy provide for the household, then yes, it's the responsibility of both. But but when it comes to things that are specifically gender based in provision of a household, there's a lot more that goes into what being a man is than just the financial part. Yeah, and I literally, you're even normal the way we moved from first date to married. You don't need that. Yeah, he just confused on his own. Yeah, yeah. I literally said there should be a discussion between spending money since it's joint. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, within marriage, I mean, this is the thing. It's like people think that marriages are supposed to be a dictatorship because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to one person to make decisions. Relationships are supposed to be monarchical. Monarchs are not dictatorships. Monarchy is, yes, ultimately the king has the say, but that's not what monarchy is in its entirety. Monarchy is there is the person who is at the top who has the ultimate say, but that does not mean that the monarch just makes all the decisions based on himself and what is good for everything. That's a secular dictatorship that most people are talking about when they think that that's what monarchy is. A relationship is a monarchy. There are people there that are supposed to inform the king on his decision. And who is one of the people that's primarily part of that? Well, then the queen would be a big part of informing decisions too. I mean, they're okay. This is getting kind of weird, but anyways, what I'm saying is, um, there are different levels of what informs a household. Obviously, yeah, the man is the primary, the top, but that does not mean that they are the one making literally every single decisions. You can give decisions for other people to make.
like let's
I know.
just
I think you're discussing in a healthy relationship, eventually you come to an agreement. Yeah, like even this is the thing too, is that I think that even within healthy relationships, there are going to be times where there is an argument where you come to an impasse, and that ultimately the man is that person that makes the decision. Now, does that mean that as a woman you should be with a man that ultimately would decide completely against what you're saying? No, not necessarily. It just depends on the circumstance and the argument that's happening. I think that's ultimately like if it's over a fucking Bugatti, like, I don't think that's an argument that I would ever have if there's money to be spent, and like I don't think that that would be something that I would argue about. But if it's something, I don't know, I'd have to think about that. It would, I guess, it would depend on the situation.
Well,
say,
that's why we're getting away with
or
it.
let's just say dating scenario in general, like courting. dating, not married, then yes, she can pay for a date. It's her money. But let's say we're gonna go
Sure, but
further. Let's say
if you're
we're gonna
gonna be
go.
me, you're
Finish a
gonna
sentence. Can I
if you're
finish a thought?
go,
Fuck. Let's say you're
have
married.
I been interrupting you the whole time? Like,
Wait,
come
wait,
on
wait.
now.
You start little quips every time I'm trying to fucking say something. Let me
Come on,
finish.
because
If you're married, then I think that's a discussion you can have with each other. And she's like, "Hey, I would really like to do this. I would like for us to do this. I'm gonna set back a little bit every payday or a little bit every month until we can afford to go do this." Then I
Right, and within that idea, if there is nothing that the money needs to be spent on, as in, say children or something else, and even then, you can adequately pay for those other things. If you have the adequate amount of money to pay for all these things, there's nothing wrong with saving up or even spending money on to pay for some sort of experience that person wants to save up for. There's nothing wrong with it. And ultimately, if you have a good monarch within the household, then that's what he would say. So that's what I'm saying. If you're discussing Bugatti, you probably don't even need to have a discussion of money. It's irrelevant. Well, I don't think it's irrelevant. I think that it would be ultimately still as good. I get what you're saying. Like if you have Bugatti money, then why are you worrying about Bugattis? I understand what you're saying, but it is ultimately like something that has to be worked out. I don't think that either the man or the woman spending money on something like a Bugatti should happen without discussion, right? Yeah, I understand what you mean. Also, if a guy is like, fuck the family, I'm going to buy a Bugatti, that can be admonished by, yeah, it should be admonished. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I do think there is a way in which those discussions should happen. There should be a discussion. It shouldn't just both people just doing whatever they want. If both people are doing whatever they want, then there shouldn't be a marriage.
I think that would be okay if you both agree to that. Now, if you don't agree with that and you tell her, "Hey, I don't think we can really swing that. We have more important things. Let's, not do this, or we can revisit this later when we're in a little bit better position," I think that's okay. I don't think she should do it without discussing it with you.
Right. Literally just repeated what I just said.
But I don't see a problem in wanting to do it.
all right,
Yeah,
so is it fine
I agree with
when
that.
I hear a woman on a first date say that she wants to spend a shit ton of money on Gordon Ramsay, then I just fucking walk away?
Well,
Okay, well, that's preference based, and he's more than able to do that. Ultimately, if you're talking about Gordon Ramsay and how much she enjoys the stuff that he makes, and that one of her dreams is to save up money to go see him at one of his restaurants, there's no problem with that, and I don't think that I would disregard a woman based on that. I think that's a very shallow way of deciding who your wife should be.
because I said it's preference based.
It's a preference.
Yeah, it's a preference. I would.
Well,
I mean,
that would make more sense.
questions.
That would make the most sense to be like, what the fuck? Do you want to spend all this money? You want to spend all this money on
I would
fucking
have
Gordon?
I mean, I don't think either spouse would really care. Yeah, I don't think that it would even be a very contested discussion. I think it would just be like, I want to buy a Bugatti. Okay. That's probably how the discussion would go. Is if you're making 50 mil a year at that point, it's kind of, yeah. I'd want a Bugatti to track. There is no insurance that will cover it, so have to be ready to just lose it. Okay. I don't. Okay. Liberal. What did I do? Or are you talking about him? Yeah.
Ramsay, I'd be like,
I'm gonna cope and say you're talking about him.
are you fucking
Oughtaire.
retarded?
I don't think I don't think any rational person is going to want to do something that extreme on a first date. Like,
well, are you gonna buy a Bugatti?
Yeah, I don't think that, and maybe I'm misunderstanding something that he's saying. I don't think that a woman's gonna come to a first date and say, I need you to buy me a Bugatti. If you do, then fuck yeah, you should get up and leave. That's crazy. What are you talking about? I'm not buying you a Bugatti.
Body. This has been the whole
That is
argument the entire time.
that's not
This has been the
related.
argument the entire
Unrelated.
time.
What the fuck does a restaurant and a Bugatti have in common? Like, this is not even the same argument.
Yeah,
It's
How
they're
is
not
it
the
not?
same.
It's called frivolous spending.
So what he's trying to do is he's trying to roll all this up into needs and wants. He's saying you shouldn't buy things that you want. And within him, if you pushed him and say, well, you should not be buying video games if someone you're dating and you're dating a man and this man is talking about how much they enjoy video games and want to buy the next, I don't know, fucking Souls game, or they're talking about, I don't know, they can't wait to get home and buy Silk Song or something, anything like that, then by his own logic, the woman should get up and leave. That's ultimately what's happening.
No.
I think the difference is
You're saying this is goal oriented spending, but these goals are fucking dumb.
For a lot of people, yeah, it's goal oriented spending. He's not understanding that if you have Bugatti money and you could just buy the Bugatti, this, I don't think he's getting it. Then it ultimately becomes the equivalence of buying Silk Song.
to you they are.
Yeah, you.
I think like to a billionaire, a Bugatti is like nothing. So I think it's it's
All right,
subjective.
so we're going to, in every fucking argument with coupling, we're going to always assume that one
Oh God, don't bring up coupling. This is a PG stream.
is a billionaire.
Did I say that? You're talking about a Bugatti getting.
You're saying this is goal oriented from a billionaire. You both just said it's. You both just agreed that it's within a billionaire's fucking prerogative.
You think you're making a point, and you're not, because you're saying.
I'm not. I'm trying to argue. I'm trying to ask questions. I'm not trying to make you a point.
I'm just asking questions. All right, Candace Owens, chill out. But I mean, what he's trying to do is a needs versus want argument. But the way to kind of shut these conversations down is, okay, if you want to talk about just needs, wipe your ass with pine cones. That's all you need. But if you're wanting to talk about wants, then get the fancy leaf, get the 2-ply.
Saying like that Bugatti thing you're saying is a broad generalization. You're saying that buying a Bugatti in general, this has nothing to do with the date. Buying a Bugatti in general is a frivolous, wasteful spending. And to you, let me finish. To you, it may be. To you, it may be. Seriously, to you, it may be. To me, it's not attainable either. But
I'm just going to say this just to get it out of the way. Oughtaire, you're the most Canadian-looking Canadian I've ever seen in my whole life. I'm not going to be mean. I'm just going to say that.
I love to have one. Yes, I would love to have one because I love cars. I'm a car person. But it's not attainable for me. So it's not a goal for me. But for a billionaire, it's attainable for them. And if it's something they're very passionate about, something that they're going to use and enjoy, then why not?
Is it not a frivolous way to spend money? Is it not an over-the-top way to spend money on things that actually don't need?
It depends on the situation. It could be an over-the-top way of spending money. It could be frivolous, but frivolous spending does not mean necessarily over the top. Over the top is based on how much money you have. So if it's not necessarily an over the top, frivolous maybe, but ultimately, when you're talking about frivolous, a lot of things are frivolous. Buying Silk Song is frivolous.
You can still get from point A to point B. Hold on.
Yeah, and to even more extreme a position, buying 2-ply is frivolous.
Talk now. It's still a place. It's still a fucking way to spend money on from point A to get to point A from point to point B.
No, it's
Wait,
preference
no, how is it
based.
not? How is it not? It's a preference. It's a preference to get from point A to point B. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, guys, come on.
Is not buying a Bugatti to get from point A to point B. They're most likely racing it. Like, let's be real. Or it's going to be an ornament for their garage. Like, it's something they just
I'm supposed to be cool with my wife trying to race from point A to point B. Come on now.
No.
Did I say your wife? Then, like, when did I say your wife? Is your wife a billionaire? Because I said it's okay for.
And I think ultimately what's happening too is he's taking this as like a personal thing. Like he's saying that that people are saying you should buy a Bugatti for your wife to race. Nobody's saying that. It's not ultimately what's being said.
A billionaire.
In,
So
y-
if
in your fucking
if your
reality,
wife's a
she is.
billionaire, then
In
sure.
your reality, she's a fucking billionaire.
Or a millionaire. It can be.
She must not be because you're not letting her go to Gordon Ramsay.
No, she can't go to.
Which is true. Like if you're a millionaire or billionaire, even if you just make, I would say even if you just make $50,000 a year and you're not if you're not wanting to provide an experience for your wife that she wants, then yeah, that's bad. You can say that. You could say that if it's something as low as an expectation of I want to see Gordon Ramsay one day and I would really like this. I would like to say I want this to be like, I don't know, I want this to be our anniversary thing that we want to do. I have no issue with that. Why wouldn't you want to try to save up to provide something for your wife in that way? Like, I don't see what the problem is with that. I don't.
Gordon Ramsay, because we have better ways to spend money.
But that's your preference, Voltaire.
What do you mean? How is that my preference? It just makes more sense
might
logically than not
listen,
go to fucking.
Voltaire,
Listen. No. Why would it logic?
Is this what happens when, I guess when I use like the fucking Renoir profile picture and then you actually see my face and I look like a baby compared to Renoir, that people just assume that I'm like 40 or 50? Because like that's where I'm at right now. I was expecting Voltaire to be like an ancient sage or something. I was expecting him to be a dude that was like an 80 or 90-year-old piano player.
Hold on, you guys explain to me. You guys
calm
explain
down.
to me. You guys explain to me why it would logically make more sense to buy a Bugatti, and why it would logically. I'm fucking calm. And why it would logically makes more sense to
You
fucking.
just make no sense. Like you.
Why would it logically makes more sense to fucking go to Gordon Ramsay?
To argue. You make no point.
Is it really? Are you kidding me? You guys can't even argue. You can't even answer my question.
Hey,
why would it?
That question has been answered multiple times.
Logically, why would it logically make more sense? Why would it logically make more sense to buy a Bugatti? Why would it logically make more sense?
I literally answered your question 20 fucking times with the same answer.
Because your answers have been why not? Your answers have been why not?
Voltaire.
Come on.
Hey,
All right, I've been off way too much food there. Hold on a second. But ultimately, what he's saying is that what you're saying doesn't meet my preferences. That's all he's saying. He's making a preference-based argument.
Come on, your answers have been why not? It's like, yeah, because she has the money.
Voltaire, stop.
Why am I the one that has to stop? I'm
Because she's
literally not even
quiet.
trying to argue.
She's quiet right now. Stop. Okay? Is that
Okay,
simple?
I'm quiet, so I'm quiet.
No, she's not even talking right now.
You're not quiet.
To your point.
Well, Kat, like, my mic continuously cuts me off as I start laughing. Some people that I hang out with actually makes me laugh so hard that you can't actually hear me laugh. So I have to cut down my laugh volume so people will know that I thought something was funny. And it's becoming a problem.
I think you are totally within your rights to have a preference for a woman that does not want to do frivolous spending. You're totally within your rights and justified to prefer a woman who doesn't want that type of thing. I'm not saying that it should be okay for every woman to want to do that. It's not. It's not. And it's okay that you have a preference for a woman who doesn't want to do that.
What both of you need to do is justify your side on why that's actually
The justification's already there. Like, let's take it this way. What is my preference and what I like to do? I like to be lazy. I don't like doing anything. That's my preference is I want to sit and do nothing, and I would like somebody who just wants to sit around and do nothing with me, based on, just my raw preference. But also, I would like to be with somebody who would make me not want to be lazy and sit around all the time. So there's a conflicting in preferences that I have there. Well, it's not even really a conflict. I would prefer to not do anything, but I would like somebody that I would want to do something with, that would make me want to get up and do something. I don't want to hike, but I would prefer to be with somebody who made me want to hike, you know? And I think that that's maybe a miscommunication. Maybe he's not getting that.
Actually, a good thing.
Did I
And
say
you
it
have
was a
not
good
been.
thing? Did I say it was a good thing?
Yeah, if it's not a good thing, then why should I? If it's not a good thing, then why should I fucking?
Because it's not about good or bad. Because if we're going to discuss whether or not it's good to spend money or bad to spend money, then that's ultimately not up to you. Depending on if you're going to talk about what's good or bad, ultimately that's up to the church. That's not up to you.
Can go with it. Why
Because
should I
it's-
deal with
it's-
this woman?
This is not a.
Okay, let's go.
I
Okay.
specifically, this has always been from the dating perspective. This has
Calm
always
down,
been from the
Voltaire.
dating perspective, and
Okay.
that's why am I supposed to calm down?
Let me answer your question.
I'm
Cat.
sorry. I'm supposed to calm down. I'm supposed to calm down.
Lying on the
I get
first
it. I
date.
get it.
You were so
I can't.
infuriated. You put on here.
I can't just
you
argue
make
my own
you
point from my own
assertions.
position
You
while I'm trying to talk
assertions
things
with
out.
no
We are-
argument. You
Needs to
make
calm down.
assertions with no argument to back
fucking
them
funny.
up. You
That's
make
funny.
assertions with no argument.
Okay.
What assertions am I making when I said that if these are fucking we're talking about points from
Don't
dating?
answer your question.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
answer your question 20 fucking times the same
Listen.
way.
Listen.
Deserved, by the way. Like the question was answered multiple times. At this point, I don't even understand why he wants to keep this circle going.
I
Cat,
need to calm down, all right, Cat? Calm down.
Hey,
calm
wait.
down. Cat, I need to
Cat,
calm down, all right?
you're yelling a little bit, and your mic is not picking you up because of that. You're probably going a little bit too hard on that one. And
Well, all
yeah,
I'm
I know.
saying,
No. I need to calm down. Listen, guys, I need to calm down, all right? I'm trying to calm down.
Yeah, you need to shut the fuck. Okay, I'm about to get mad.
I'm trying to calm down.
Voltaire,
No,
stop
I'm trying to
interrupting
calm
me.
down.
Stop
I'm trying to
interrupting
I'm gonna
me.
try not to get mad.
I'm trying to calm
mute
down.
you.
you
I'm
even
trying
have
to
a
calm down.
conversation with
I
this
need to
guy.
calm down. I need to
I'm
calm
gonna
down.
mute
How can you even
you.
have a conversation with this guy?
I don't want to mute you, but I will if I have to. Okay.
L. Emmett. Where's Emmett? This is an L. What's going on? Where you at, Emmett? You better be asleep.
You
Dude,
should mute me because this is not productive.
Oh, okay. He was talking to Voltaire. My bad, Emmett.
the way you're saying, why is it good? The answer that I'm giving you is that has nothing to do with
Sometimes people
morality.
need to be spurred at.
Nothing.
Voltaire was needing to be
This is
spurred at.
preference based. If you go out with a person that has a lot of money, let's say, okay, and that person is like, hey, I want to pay for us to have this experience, and you're like, I can't, I want to go over here, but to have this experience, you're like, hey, I cannot pay for the, and she says like, don't worry about it. Why are you gonna? What is the moral axiom that you have that's like, no, I cannot accept that?
Because she's paying for something that does not need to be paid for.
And within that argument, there are preferences built in, and what he's using is a loaded term. He's saying that I prefer not this money not to be spent this way, so I think it's pointless to spend it. And the way that you could find that out is just by asking them, okay, so then you shouldn't be spending money on video games. You shouldn't be spending money on, I don't know, a cheeseburger at McDonald's. You shouldn't even be eating a cheeseburger. You should be just eating whatever you can find laying on the ground. That's all you need.
Let's say it does need to be paid for. Let's say you
Why
have
does
no,
it? Why?
let-
Why?
Okay,
Why?
let-
Why?
I'm asking a question. If you let
I
me
know.
finish my thought, I
Oh
would
my gosh, Kat,
I would
come on
greatly
now.
no, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll let you speak. Now can I speak?
No, you're not allowed to speak.
Oh, shut up, Voltaire.
I'm more allowed to speak on this channel than you are. I can kick you right now. But anyway, what if it did need to be paid for? What if you are going through financial hardship right now, but she really wants to date you. She really wants to go on a date with you. Could you not accept that from her? This is a question for you. This is not me making an assertion on what's right or wrong.
Yeah. So if I'm going through hardships and she says that she wants to go to,
I
fucking Hell's
McDonald's.
Kitchen.
No, I'm saying McDonald's. I'm just no, but my question is any
hold
date.
on. No, you're
My
making,
question is any date.
You're changing the goalposts.
No, I'm not. I'm
Oh, the question is the should. Should you allow yourself to have the person you're dating pay for a date based on your financial situation and hardship? That's the question. And it's not about generalities. It's not about like prescriptions on what the overall relationship should be. It's about a specific instance of what is okay with you to do, ultimately. And but there's no problem with that. There's no problem with a woman paying for a date because she wants to spend time with you and you can't afford to buy a cheeseburger at McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with that.
really not. I'm clarifying my question. I'm talking about any date. If she just wants to be with you and go on a date and you cannot afford it, let's say movies. Let's just say the movies, like $50 date, and you are having financial hardship. You can't swing it that week, but you guys really enjoy spending time together. You want to spend time together, and
No, this is the first date. We're talking about the first date.
Yeah.
Now we're going back to the first date. What the fuck? I'm gonna start spurging out in a minute.
About the movies. They're gonna go to the movies, and
you're gonna go to the movies. And you know you like each other. You've been chatting. You've been texting back and forth.
No, this is the first date.
Okay.
What the fuck was the whole Bugatti shit? All right, I'm gonna start spurging out in a minute. He doesn't need the house he lives in, the couch he's sitting on, or the computer that he's using to have this conversation. Yeah, he doesn't need any of this. So making the need argument would ultimately make his position completely inconsistent. But apparently this is only about the first date again.
You don't text for a week or two before you go on a first date? I mean, I haven't dated for a while, but I mean, I would think that I would need to know the person a little bit before I agreed to go on a date with them.
That's a bad idea, Oughtaire. But
no. Can I?
He's drinking from that damn whole ass bottle. He's on the whole. He's at that level.
At least. So you guys are texting, and this guy says that, yeah, I can't afford.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go ahead.
Let me try
I think that at least I should be able to fucking reply.
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys are texting for a long time, and this guy's like, yeah, I'm poor as shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, if you want to have a fucking first date and the theater date, I can't, this, like me, I'm dating you, Emmett, and I said that, yeah, I can't fucking deal with this shit. I can't pay for this, whatever we're fucking going to do for a date.
Okay, let's say that I just opened a business. I used all my savings. I have no available cash right now. I'm trying to go out with a girl. She is like, I tell her, I can't date you right now because I have no money. And she's like, don't worry about it.
As you like, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. There's no problem there. Even within even with the confines of a first date. Me personally, if I met a girl and I was completely out of money, I had no way of actually paying for the first date, and I'm like, hey, it's gonna have to wait for a little bit. I have to wait until I can actually afford to pay for the date. And she's like, wanting to spend that time with you so much, wanting to go on that date so much. She's like, nah, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. I think that there's something, I think that would be a green light, a green flag.
I believe in you, and I want you to succeed, and I think we're going to be
because
great
you're
together.
saying that she's going to have a power dynamic with you.
Yeah, and even within that, even if there does develop a power dynamic that she thinks she's the head of the relationship or the head of everything at that point, based on her wanting to pay for a date, then yeah, that's going to come out within the date, and probably don't have a second date. That's all that's going to happen if you're basing this on the preference that, or not even just the preference, on the idea that the man should be the head of the relationship. If there's a developed power dynamic based on what the first date is, I don't think that you're really understanding what a date truly is at the end of the day. It's a weird kind of feminist way of looking at a date where it's expressions of power dynamics. That's not what dates are supposed to be. They're supposed to be experiences you share with the other person to know whether or not the relationship could be good or not.
Show you that she likes you so much that she wants to pay for
Why the hell does Cat keep repeating everything I say?
the date just to be able
Like,
to
right, like I make the argument, and then Cat's immediately agreeing with me. I should just let the video play at this point.
with you? I don't
It's
think that's
possible.
I don't think that's
What?
really
No. Okay.
I don't
Yes,
it's a
I can
backwards
understand
power
that.
dynamic. I think that it should make you like feel like you do have
What?
an upper hand, like you
What
are
the
the
odds
stronger
that
one in
that's
the power
actually the
dynamic.
fucking what's the odds that that's actually the fucking outcome?
Right, which is why power dynamics is not a good way of really like looking at things like dates, because power dynamics are gay and weird, and like they're inherently socialistic by nature or communistic by nature. The power dynamics and the way that we prescribe them to people and experiences and dates, it doesn't work. It makes it ultimately materialistic in the way that you perceive all interactions that you have. That's why the red pill is pretty gay when they're talking about shit like this. The red pillars are becoming weird, gay, socialist feminists on their own because they can't actually give good prescriptions. They can only think in economic terms and the way to apply it to a dating market. They don't actually understand the difference between a market and a people. They don't understand it. They combined it all.
And that's actually the fucking the thing that that she actually wants. And
I'm not gonna offer to pay. I'm not
what
gonna
are
offer
the
to pay for
odds
a
that
date
this
with a
is
guy
even
if
the
I don't
thing?
like him.
It doesn't even make sense. Like the odds are that she's actually not that person.
I'm not saying women should like
This is not a
universally
general
pay for first
statement.
dates.
Yeah, this is not. We're talking about
They should
preference
not
based.
universally pay for first dates.
Yeah, we're not talking about general societal things. We're talking about individual preferences and the seeking of a partner. That's what the conversation's about. It keeps bouncing back and forth to general prescriptions for a society and individual preference-based partner finding.
And that I think that
And I hate calling fucking people partners, but I don't know what the fuck else to call them. Fuck you, feminism, for making me use this terminology and making me forget how to talk like an actual human being.
is that the
You know what?
argument you were
You know
having
what?
with Teriak?
Sometimes sometimes people actually, you know, they love God, but they're not orthodox or any of this stuff. There's other stuff, but they still fuck
Yeah.
up. Like I don't
We don't.
understand
That's why
your
we don't
guys'
make
position.
That's why we don't make salvific claims, right? Because we don't know. So
Yeah, well, this is the thing that as far as I understand, it's like, yeah, that's one of the only salvific claim you can't understand or know whether or not somebody does actually have a connection to God, and whether or not, you know, that's genuinely being worked out. But I would always just say that, to me personally, I don't know whether or not you are actually worshiping the right God. I don't know what God you're worshiping. There should be a place that you go to find out whether or not you're actually worshiping the correct God, which is what the church should do. But anyways.
what I'm saying is, in generality, I agree with you. In general terms, men should
I
be the
do
ones
too.
who were paying for the first
I
date.
agree.
What I'm talking is about preference based things, and this is in the
And the
Yeah, and ultimately, what happens within individuals trying to find a wife or husband, the only thing that you can go off of is preference based stuff. Like it's ultimately, yeah, it's kind of gay, but it is subjective, right? It's subjective what type of wife that you want. It's subjective what type of husband that you want. It is ultimately subjective. It's based on the individual's perception of what they want to have in their married life.
most
this is
random
about
circumstances, Cat can be right, but that's not the fucking norm.
And I'm not saying it
Yeah,
is.
we're not
I'm saying,
Well, then
and
I'm
I
never.
know,
Nobody's ever arguing that it's not the norm. Like you're
I
trying
know,
to say
but I'm
to me,
speaking.
you guys
I'm
are
speaking
both
in
are trying to say to
outliers.
me, hey, it's possible that this other thing can fucking happen.
I know I'm
Yeah,
speaking
sure,
in.
that's
Right,
fine.
and the only thing that you had to do was concede that, yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, I could see that on an individual level that could occur. That's all you had to say. But you keep bouncing back and forth to general prescriptions of society and individual preference based courtship, I guess.
Fine, it's
Outliers,
possible.
but that's what I do. That's what I
Oh
do
my
because
gosh, but you guys are
I'm
both trying
personally
to.
I'm an
This whole
outlier.
time I'm trying to argue. I'm trying to tell you guys that this is not the fucking norm. And you guys are like, yeah, it's not the norm.
You're
it's
not
fucking,
saying it's not the
outlawed.
norm. You're saying it's not right.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
I never
Those
said
are
it was not
different.
right. That's never
Yes, you
said.
And there's also that too, where he's trying to moralize every single interaction and type of way that you spend money. He's trying to moralize it when he's not capable as an individual to do that. That's not his position. That's not his part within the hierarchy of what becomes moral. He is ultimately, as a man, subject to the whims of the church, of what they decide what is moral and not. And he has to just accept that. He doesn't get to decide what is moral in the way that people spend money. He doesn't get to decide that. That's not his part of the hierarchy.
It was not right.
Yes,
No,
you did.
How?
You asked us
said
what
it's
it
not
was
right.
good. Yeah, you asked us what it was good, and I told you that it was dependent on the person. We were talking about
I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's neutral.
yeah, it's
Yes, and
preference
I can
based.
argue what's good or not. I'm allowed to argue what's good or not, even though
And I would love to hear it, but I haven't heard it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
I'm allowed to.
let me ask you a
If you
question,
don't
Oughtaire.
understand, hold on, no. If you don't think
You do be cooking, yeah. Cat does be cooking sometimes.
that what I'm arguing with,
Well, okay. She cooks. Fuck, what am I saying? I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to. I'm confused by this conversation. Yeah, Cat knows what she's talking about when she's talking about this stuff. It's almost like she hangs around people, and it's almost like she has the capability of thinking.
is what is good and what's not, then then you would concede that nothing what you're saying that you would
I concede
you would
nothing.
concede that your
Concede
idea of fucking
There's nothing to concede.
Your idea of reality is the best.
Okay, let me put it this
Did
way.
I say it was the best? I said I literally just finished saying it.
Right now, he's bouncing back to what is best, should be the general thing that should happen within relationships. Now he's bouncing back and forth to individual preference base to societal norms.
It's an outlier situation.
Yeah, in the normative way, in the normative idea, we agree with you. In the nominal
That's great.
idea, we don't agree with you.
That's great. So you want to take the Teriak position? Like you
No.
agree with me? You agree with
What's
me
your-
in you
I
agree
didn't
with
want your
me in the
debate.
most? Can you agree with me in all of fucking circumstances?
By the way, Theriac would agree with Voltaire more than Tad or Emmett in this conversation.
Mostly, but these specific certain fucking circumstances, hey, it's not like that.
That's
So
not
I
the, that's
fucking
not the
win
debate.
anyways.
I
That's
just
not the
think
debate
living
at
life,
hand.
living
Yes, it
life,
is. Oh my gosh, yes, it is.
living life in
You're like,
generalizations
hey, if
is
people
not.
don't think the way that you do, hey, we can find ways.
I think living life in this idea that everything is going to go exactly as the normative way prescribes is not a healthy way of interacting with people. If you are interacting with people in this idea that everything should 100% be this consistent A to B thing, where, at the beginning, or everything should exactly track from A to B every single time the exact same way, what you're going to have is a life filled with extraordinary disappointment and also put yourself in positions where you're going to have to cut people out of your life based on one misstep or one thing that goes outside of what you prefer. If that's the way that people interact with people in relationships, what you have is the society that we currently live in, where nobody can actually have any sort of relationship that lasts very long, because there's always going to be a misstep. There's always going to be something like, I don't agree with that. This needs to be a conversation. Conversations don't happen because they don't need to happen, because everything should revolve around your specific preference.
That we
I
disagree.
can't have a conversation with this.
No.
Yeah.
Oughtaire, we have to be able to respond to you, okay? We're three people here. You're talk. We talk.
What are
Go
you
on,
talking
Kat.
about? You guys have been fucking sparking the
Look.
whole time. Oh
What the hell are you talking about? You've been talking the most out of everybody. Anyways.
You
my
never
gosh.
shut up. Like, we
Look.
literally can't
You
make
never
a point.
shut up.
Listen,
Oh my
listen to
gosh,
this.
come
Listen, I'm
on.
trying to say something. Oh my, and it's the constant. Oh my God, come on. Oh my God, like it's constant.
I said it 3 times.
You've said
I
it the
said that
entire
3 times.
fucking time.
I
I've
said
been
it
But yeah,
in
I
spurts.
ultimately think
said,
that
wow.
You keep saying it.
I didn't.
I'll skip a little bit, but I think ultimately what's happened here is that's just the end of the conversation. There's not really anything that can really be deemed out. It's just going to be a circle over and over again.
Speaking in generalizations, which that's fine. Your worldview is in a generalization, but I'm saying there are outliers. And there are specific situations where your worldview would not meet with the situation. Can you agree to that?
Yes, and I'm not trying to
And I'm giving you grace and granting that I did not watch your debate with Teriak, but I'm assuming like his position was that women should always pay for first dates.
Yeah. That would
Is that what
be the
his
position of
is that what his
right?
position was?
Hold on a minute. The problem is I can at least fucking speak on the majority of people.
Voltaire, we agree.
And then
with
when I
you.
hear
We agree
My
with
question
you
was
on the
my
one.
question was what was
people are
Teriak's?
oh, what about this? What about that? It's like, yes, we already fucking understand that, but I can speak for the majority of people.
Yeah, no, I understand that. My question was what was Teriak's position is that women should always pay for first date, like no matter what? Because I'm just trying to understand what his argument was.
Yes, he said women should always pay for the first date.
Well, then I disagree.
All right, now we got to go. Oh,
Disagree with
shit.
you.
But
And
I understand that.
But now we're gonna have to go find the. I'm not searching for that right now. I'll find it later.
Trying to argue with me. Why should I shut? All right, I'll shut up. Wait,
it's not this.
In the general, like in the is go wow. He's that.
All right, I think this whole conversation is pretty much over. Like, I don't think that there's anything new that can be said. I think it's just going to be a big loop. And if I can't find the Teriak debate, we can't really judge whether or not he's being good faith in that. So we're gonna do some Hollow Knight for probably about an hour or so. Then I'm gonna take a nap and go to work. But yeah, I don't keep watching. All right, we'll keep watching for a minute.
Fucking let me. Okay, so is it like, is it moral to fucking? Is it right to kill people through vigilante?
What?
Basically, you're like, oh, you know, like
It's not. It's completely inconsistent for a vigilante to be good. It's within the definition of vigilante. You can't have a good vigilante, or a law-abiding vigilante, I should say.
sometimes it might be, and sometimes it's not. I'm just trying.
You can have a good vigilante. It just depends on what the moral structure and. Anyways.
I'm trying to fucking argue the point.
No. That's a difference.
Overallism. No, it's not. It's I'm trying to say overall. I'm trying to say overall through a certain point it's not good, and you guys just say, hey, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good. It's like, yeah, we fucking all understand that sometimes it's good.
Okay, Oughtaire finally concedes the entirety of this conversation.
And you guys are trying
finally
to prove that like. Yeah, we can all agree with that. This is why I fucking argued with you on EOD's fucking, because it's like
you're doing a tautology, and I was just dismantling the tautology.
Well, to be honest, EOD and Oughtaire both were really super wrong on the entirety of the argument that they were constructing. EOD was extremely fallacious in the way that he was trying to argue his point. But I don't think he was being serious about that conversation, to be honest. If he was, then yes, he was being very fallacious and bad faith. But
I agree that on normal things, you gotta debate the whole fucking thing. You gotta debate all of the fucking things.
I have to debate with EOD. I have to debate with EOD.
You can't even agree with me because you need some sort of fucking agreement.
It's like, okay, let me...
No, that's what Oughtaire is doing.
Let me answer, okay? The EOD stuff. I have to disagree with EOD because EOD is a libertarian. EOD believes that we have to have this kind of balance.
Why does that matter to me? It doesn't matter. That was never the fucking thing.
Oh, shit. You see that shit? He just took another shot, and he's like, oh, it just hit him. I know that feeling, dude. I get that feeling. That's a I need to go to sleep feeling. Probably should just went to sleep.
Why?
Unless I dropped another dollar store words when my mic was goofing off. Yeah. I think that a lot of the Dollar Tree words got cut out by the mic not being able to pick up what you were saying.
It's never the fucking yes, but EOD had not. EOD's fucking argument had nothing to do with this.
It has
I'm saying
to.
that. No, it doesn't.
You brought it
even
up.
though, yes, because we were arguing on
Told him to slur
EOD's
some more.
channel. Even though EOD fucking agrees with something else, I can argue with something completely different.
The reason why I'm disagreeing with EOD is because we actually
exactly,
have disagreements.
Exactly.
When we have this case, you made a tautology argument, and I was just telling you, hey, there are reasons why in specific cases the tautology argument doesn't work. Even though in general I agree with you, and I said that from the start.
Great, you can agree with me, but the funny.
I mean, Voltaire's already conceded the whole thing. Like he already says that he completely agrees. The whole evolution of this argument has just kind of ultimately led to what I think everyone got is that that this is the reasonable position to have.
The thing is, like, if you're gonna fucking have a girlfriend, and she fucking spends things on stupid shit, you're still gonna fucking agree.
If I want to have a girlfriend and my girlfriend wants to spend things.
If you have a girlfriend, if you just have a girlfriend and she spends shit, if she spends on stupid shit.
Well, this is the thing, Kat. You're gonna debate on an open panel one day and just while you're drinking. This is the thing when you're drinking, like you're just happy or not happy, but you're bubbly and you're like giggly. That's all that happens. So I don't think anyone's going to come debate you because the second that they say something, you're just going to start giggling. So that would be the whole debate. It's just giggles.
You're still going to be on agreement with me.
Is she fiscally responsible or fiscally irresponsible?
Why does that matter?
Because if she's being fiscally responsible,
why does it matter,
she is doing
bro?
what is good, then I don't agree with
dumb.
you.
That's dumb.
It's like,
you know it's dumb, and then you're just being fucking. You're just trying to argue for the sake of arguing.
No,
Voltaire's been doing that the whole time. That's what he does when he drinks. He just likes to argue for the sake of arguing, which is fine. You can do that, but like, probably not good to throw stones in a glass house there.
I'm trying to.
Yes,
talk.
you
I mean, that's what I do. I will say sometimes I pick things to argue about just for the sake of arguing. 90% of the time, I'm just joking. Like I'm just joking about that stuff. But there's 10% of the time where somebody's pissed me off, and I'm trying to figure out a way of going at them in a actual logical way. And I'm just being like really pedantic and trying to get through something so I can actually find something to latch on to that's real that I can argue about. Yeah, I can say that I do that about 10% of the time, and that's usually when I'm drunk. Like 99% of the time when I'm drunk, that's what I'm doing.
Come on, how are you not arguing for the sake that it's just dumb?
I wasn't trying to argue with you. I was trying to talk to you.
Okay? How are you trying to talk with me?
Well, talks go like this. You say something, and
How are you trying to talk to me by speaking, by using words?
Reply with something, and then you say something else, and then I reply with something else.
Talks go like, hey, this person is spending money on something that should never be spent on, and you're like, yeah, that's probably how things should be spent. Money should be spent on because she could spend that thing. It's like, yeah, but those things that she's spending money on, it doesn't make any sense because
if my CEO,
you don't get any actual fucking gain from it, and then you're like, oh well, yeah, but if she wants to fucking spend money on whatever the fuck she wants, then that's her prerogative.
If my CEO that's making $50 million a year comes to me and says, hey, look at my new car, and I say, hey, nice Bugatti, boss.
How does that even? How does that even fucking?
It would be like
how does that correlate?
Understandable.
How does that put money? People who no. I want to know. I want from you, Emmett. I want to know if people who have the ability to spend
money. What statement? normative
how
norm
Why you don't understand that?
that comes to
Don't
this.
overpower someone else's preferences. I don't
Yeah.
understand why you don't understand that.
Yeah,
because why should preference
It's
preference
okay for
do
you
not
to have a preference, but it's
preferences
also okay for me to have a
preferences
preference.
do
It's
not
okay for
fucking
Emmett to have a preference.
outweigh odds.
It's okay.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like I think he's thinking that his preference is the objective truth of what relationship should be. At least within the state that he's in right now.
Okay for Smoking
Preferences do
Spaceman
not
to have a
outweigh
preference.
odds.
It's okay for
Preferences do
Scott
not
to have a
outweigh odds.
preference. It's okay for Mr.
Preferences do
Mister to
not
have a
outweigh
preference.
odds. Preferences do not outweigh odds.
Yeah, and there's no odds within this system of finding a partner. The only odds that are within the dynamic of finding partners is they ought to follow the church. They ought to even within, well, even then, that's only if you're like a Christian, which is the ultimate source of ought. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that there's not really any odds when it comes to dating. It's mostly just preference based. There's odds within relationship dynamics, sure, but there's not odds within the dating. Like when you're trying to find out if you want to be in a relationship with this person, there's no odds within there. There's just preference based.
Listen, the only odd that I
Okay, let
think
me put
of, the only odd that I think of in
I
this
guess
situation is
if
the
you're
person.
rich, I guess if you're rich, you ought to fucking buy something that's
The
far
only
beyond.
Hey,
Did
listen
we
to
say
me.
ought? Did we
The
say
o-
ought?
Yeah, we didn't. The
Did you
only
say
Well,
ought?
No,
that's
we
the
didn't.
argument you've been making.
No, it's not.
There needs to be like a preference versus ought. Like I don't know, there probably is somewhere.
The
No,
only
it's
odd.
not.
It has. Oh my gosh, it has.
Okay, the only odd that we've said in all
I'm
of these
sorry you
is if
can't
the person
understand it.
is if the person is physically responsible. That's the
Which is
only
true.
odd. If the person
You're
has
trying to
enough
say
money
if
to do
people
whatever
have
they want
money,
with their money.
you ought to
I
buy
think if
things
you
that are
have
fucking
money, you ought to be able to spend it how you prefer to spend it.
Yeah, the ought is the preference of how you spend the money. It's not you ought to buy specifically this thing. Yeah, the ought is that people should be able to spend the money that they earn the way they want to. That's the ought.
Yep.
So if he's saying that because that some people can buy a Bugatti, that means that they're saying that you ought to buy a Bugatti. That's not ultimately what it means. You ought to be able to buy the Bugatti. It's not you ought to buy the Bugatti.
And
That's not good.
this is my train of logic: is that people people who have what's funny, Voltaire?
Oh shit. Everybody's heard that type of voice before. When a woman gets low in tone and she's like, you can see I'm just saying, you can see the look on her face right now. This is not going to go well. That tone of voice, that you got to know that she's tilting her head to the side, maybe narrowing her eyes a little bit. He's about to get fucked up. That's what's about to happen.
What are you talking about?
What you giggling about there, buddy?
There we go.
I'm giggling about
Told
how
you.
the fact that even if somebody is absolutely rich, like you can't even grab this person who is
I'm rich.
And,
How did they become rich?
You honestly believe that the best thing they could do is fucking spend things that are fucking like
If
Bugattis
they
and
want
stuff.
to, why?
If they
would you-
want, oh my gosh!
Why do-
How
become
if they
rich?
want to? Even if they want to, how is that not?
Why do
How
you
is that
have a
not dumb?
say?
Look, right now, this is the situation. There's a fuse that's been lit. Right? It's probably been lit for a little bit. The timer's going out, and there's about to be a whole lot of bloodshed in a minute. Okay, that's what's about to happen. Either that or the fuse is going to get put out. This is either or now. We're in a dichotomy at this point. There's either something's going to put the fuse out, or there's about to be a bomb that's going to go off in a minute.
How
What?
did they
You
become
guys
rich?
can't prove. The problem is you guys can't prove
You can't
spending
prove
things that are
shit.
beyond. You guys can't prove spending things beyond like you. you guys can't
Do you
prove spending
understand that
fucking
people who
Bugattis
can
on
afford a
things that
Bugatti,
are.
people who can afford a Bugatti are also affording to donate to charities because it's a tax shelter? Do you not understand that? Those people who can truly afford a Bugatti are also doing charity work. So there's your ought right there. They ought do charity. They are doing charity.
You think that these people who are buying Bugattis give to charity?
Well, man, she just gave the argument of why they would be. They're a tax shelter. You get benefits out of doing it. So the government ought make you do that. There's no, but that's what ultimately Voltaire is trying to argue for. The government ought make you do that. You ought do that because of what? Like, I don't understand. I'm getting to a point where my brain is melting now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
God, come on.
You don't know how. Who do you
These
think?
people,
funds
these
most
people,
of the
these people
charity?
who are
tax shelter
these
works.
people who can frivolously spend on whatever the fuck they want are the
It's
ones that
tax
are giving
shelter.
to.
So that they don't have to pay so many taxes. And I'm not saying it's because they're great people. It's because they don't want to pay so many taxes. But whatever the motive is behind doing the charity work, it's still charity work. So why can't they buy a fucking Bugatti if they're spending the same amount of money on a charity?
And ultimately, what is happening within that type of system is that it makes wealthy people be the primary reason why charities even exist. It does do good, I guess. I don't necessarily think that it's good. Their intention is good, or they're getting anything out of doing that good. But there is still good being provided by those people who can use these places as tax shelters. There's still good being done with it. So I don't. So yeah, I don't like. That's the thing too, is that they think, so a lot of people think that because good outcome happens, that it doesn't matter what you do to get to that good outcome. That's win by any means, but I don't think that. I think that what's being said here is ultimately his argument kind of results in that idea. Yeah, almost like you got some logic on. It's almost like she got some logic. This is the thing too. Is like you could tell. Like this is the thing, right? Voltaire should get ready once the fuse lit. Like a lot of women, you light that fuse, nothing's going to happen but a bunch of screaming because they can't rationalize what they're going to do. Cat can. So once that fuse is lit, the bomb isn't going to be like a massive emotional explosion. What it's going to be is like a fucking precision missile strike. That's what's going to happen. And that's what happened.
This is the incentive to do good, work hard, make money, is that then you can do what you want to do.
Sure, but you haven't actually you haven't actually justified the spending on the Bugatti.
It's preference.
Because it's not, yeah, that's preference based. You should be able to spend your money on what you want, and within that is that there's a preference.
It's preference.
It's preference.
Yes.
I'm sorry you can't understand it. Like, what type of
No odds. There's no odds. There's no odds to fucking deal with it at all. Nobody has any odds. Nobody has any odds. Nobody has any odds. Even if you have some money, nobody has any odds. Nobody has any odds for anything. Nobody has any odds for anything. And if you
Man, I'm thinking about now I want some fucking cereal, but I don't have any. I'm disappointed.
Nobody has any odds for anything. If you have a little bit of more money, then you should just.
Well, his brain's being pickled right now. That's the problem, and like, I don't think Voltaire's a bad dude. I just think he gets drunk and he starts spurging. I don't think he's able to form a coherent argument at this point.
Buy something that you should just buy. You should just buy.
The pickle brain syndrome.
That you don't even need.
Pickle brain. The pickle brain syndrome will make you start debating that you should be you should do what's needed, and what's needed is to shit in the woods and wipe your ass with pine cones while eating whatever acorns and berries that you can find along the way while living in a box.
You don't even need that. You don't need that. And we're gonna call that. Yeah, we
Who
ought
are-
to need that.
Wait, who are you to tell people what they need and they don't need?
Because he's the fucking king.
Are you fucking retarded? Emmett?
Well, mild correction there. He's not the king, he's just the dictator. The king is supposed to be a benevolent force.
Come on.
I'm asking you.
So,
What?
well,
Hey, be careful
What-
before the
what-
fuse gets
what
lit on me.
breakfast cereal do you
Let's
eat?
look.
What's
Who are you to
breakfast
tell
cereal?
what people ought not need? Yeah,
What
are
type
you-
of
so
breakfast
a
cereal
Bugatti
do
is
you
ought
like?
Emmett,
What type of bear? Just answer the fucking question. What type of cereal do you eat?
What
Emmett-
type of breakfast cereal do you like?
Emmett,
What
prove
type
that.
of breakfast cereal
Emmett,
do you
prove-
like?
What do you like? Do you like Cheerios? You like fucking Fruity Pebbles? You like Cocoa Pebbles? You like Cocoa Puff? Answer the fucking question.
Like,
Proven
Mute
ought
him.
for the need of
Mute
a
him.
Bugatti.
I'll
Proven
pay
ought
you
for
to
the
mute
need
him.
of Bugatti.
I will send you $20 right now to mute him.
Wait,
Yeah, that's great.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
should
mute
I
you.
not? Should I ought not pay Emmett $20 to mute you so I can get a sentence out? Well, guess what? It's my preference.
Exactly. Which is
The
what-
fucking bomb is lit. The bomb is going off.
Oh,
The precision
shut
strike.
up, Rich. Hearing
You or
Rich,
Emmett can't.
Rich,
None of you can
for
prove
you,
why.
call someone
None of you
retarded
can
when
prove
you
why it's why you
no
ought to have a
arguments.
fucking Bugatti.
Done is
None of
make
you can
an
prove why you
assertion.
ought to have a Bugatti.
Okay,
It's
I'm gonna mute you
ridiculous.
for a second.
All he's ever done is make an assertion and not an argument. I've never heard this guy make an argument.
Okay.
Completely,
Oughtaire.
but you can't. None of you can prove an ought for a Bugatti. So
It has nothing to do with normative.
The ought is not the Bugatti. The ought is the decision. They ought have that decision. They ought be able to have the preference-based ability to buy what they want. They ought to be able to spend their money. They ought to be able to do that.
Ethics. You're not. What part of that you're not getting?
I don't get why he doesn't understand that this conversation wasn't about a fucking Bugatti.
And even
what
if
are
he
you
was
talking about?
even if he was
Oh shit! He's gotten so drunk he's turned fucking British. He's like a fucking Cockney on the damn the fucking what they call it back then? It's not a sidewalk. It's the side slab, the slab of stone they walk on.
if
You
a
guys
person is
dumb. Oh my
There,
god.
you
Even-
took it there, but that's not what this was supposed to be.
no, it has nothing to do with that. The whole point of it was we were
Let's get a
talking
hold on. I want to get a repeat on that.
was for a Bugatti.
Bugatti. I don't get why he.
What part of that you're not getting?
I don't get why he doesn't understand that this conversation wasn't about a fucking Bugatti.
And even
What
if
are
he
you
was
talking about?
Conversation wasn't about a fucking Bugatti.
And even
What
if
are
he
you
was
talking
about,
about?
I don't know why that's
he
so
was
fucking
a
funny.
Bugatti, no, it has nothing to do with that. The whole point of it was we were talking about dating, and the whole idea was if the woman wants to do something that the guy cannot afford, but she can, there's no problem on it when you're talking about preference-based things, right? I
It's
gave
funny
you
how
I
you
gave you a
guys
scenario.
how
I
you
gave
guys were just arguing for a Bugatti the whole time, and it's like, oh,
There's
no,
literally
no,
not
because
been-
It's the same
it has nothing to
principle.
do with Bugatti.
Literally not been arguing for the purchase of a Bugatti, are literally arguing for the ability to be able to make that decision. They ought be able to make that decision. They ought be able to have preferences. They ought be able to spend the money. It's not the preference, but they ought be able to spend that money how they want, because they know what they want and need, and they ought to be able to have extra money based on the position and the job that they have to be able to encourage societally people wanting to take those positions of high skilled labor and high intensity labor. That's what the whole argument is.
Because
Okay,
preference
okay,
is
okay.
preference. Preference is preference, whether it's a Toyota Corolla or a Bugatti. Like, it's preference.
Yeah.
So let's say that. Okay, so
Preference.
you have a Jeep Hellcat, right? You have a Jeep Hellcat, right? Or like whatever.
Preference is a not. Good thing preference is a not. Like
Answer the
that's good to
fucking
hear.
question. You have a
Preference
souped
is a
up
not.
Jeep. You have a souped up Jeep Cherokee, right or wrong?
Is it a not? Is it a not?
Answer the fucking question.
Is it a not?
Answer the fucking question.
What's the? Why should I answer a question when you're saying something is a not?
It's not.
I've
Nobody
not
said
said that.
You ought not answer ought questions. You ought only ought. You only ought. There's only oughts. You ought.
Is
Not
a
a not.
fucking
You just literally said, "Oh my fucking god."
Ugh,
Do
I
you
can't.
have a fucking souped up Jeep Hellcat Cherokee, whatever the fuck, something that's not base model, correct?
Just created. You just created a not ought, and are you trying to say it's a not?
An ought? It's an ought that you ought? You ought to do the oughts. You ought.
I'm asking you a question. I'm trying to follow your logic here.
Do you
My
have
logic.
that car or not?
Do you have a non-base model Jeep?
Yes, I haven't. No, I don't.
I thought you told
How
me you
does
had
that
like a. I
How
thought
does
you
that
said
have
you
to
had
do
like
with
a.
anything?
I
I don't have a
you had
non.
like a.
I don't have a non
He's an otter. He's not Oughtaire.
base model Jeep. So tell me how that fucking have to. No. Tell me exactly how that has to do with
I'm gonna start calling it Oughtaire now from now on. Yeah, we did it. We got a meme out of this.
anything.
No,
Tell
no,
me
no.
exactly how that.
Because
Tell me
you-
exactly how that has to do with thing.
Wait.
Well, how are you not living by your worldview then? Because I, for a fact, know that you told me that you had that. So how are you not living by your worldview? Because if we want to set up a proportion of finances compared to a billionaire's finances, then the logic would show that maybe you're not living by your worldview. Maybe you ought not have gotten the Jeep.
How does this have anything to do with a
It's
fucking
everything to
first
do with
date?
it.
Because this is the thing. It's not about the Bugatti. It's about buying the whole argument was you ought only buy what you need. Well, then you ought live in the woods. You ought shit in the woods. You ought drink water out of the creek. You ought wipe your ass with a pine cone. You ought live in a box. You ought never you should never use two-ply. You ought never should use two-ply.
Really? Does it? Oh my god.
Yes, because you say, hey, a Bugatti is the super expensive thing that is beyond.
Is
most
my Jeep a Bugatti? Is my Jeep a
Calm
Bugatti?
down. That's not what I said.
If you set
I'm
it up,
not-
if you
I-
set it up,
Listen.
you said
Oh
it
my
up-
gosh. If I
if you
wasn't
said
calm,
it
I'd
up-
be.
you ought have burger ass. Okay. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Yeah, you ought to have burger ass.
I'd be completely different. You know what,
If you
Emmett? Calm
if you
down.
set it up
Calm
in
down.
proportion
Cat, calm
of
down. Calm down. Apparently,
I
you guys
was-
are
I was
just
talking-
losing control.
Okay.
sentence. God damn! Shut the fuck up.
I was talking and you interrupted me mid-sentence, and then I'm trying
Got
to
them Dollar Tree
finish the
word now.
sentence so you understand the logical idea. The logic goes, you have
He doesn't understand logic.
what she's saying is, in proportionality, it may be the case that a billionaire buying a Bugatti is like a person buying
equivalent.
a simple simple car that is that doesn't cost that much. But in proportionality, they're spending the same amount, or it's possible that the person that is buying the car that is not a millionaire is even spending way more than in proportion than the millionaire is.
So and it,
Listen,
like,
'cause the-
how am I a
Alright.
woman and I understand logic better?
all right.
Well, to be fair, like once you get to the pickle brain part of the drinking night, you kind of lose all comprehension of anything. And also, cat's also probably within the top 5 or 10 percentile of intelligence. So, like,
If you think that, that's fine.
I know that. I fucking know that. Your circular logic makes no fucking sense because you're spewing a worldview here that you're not willing to live by.
Yeah, and I've also been streaming. I need to calm down. Apparently.
You just need to learn to let other people have a thought. Like this is what Emmett and I are doing. We get our point out. See, this is not productive.
Oh my god, this is hilarious. Oh my god,
This is not
I'm the
Voltaire.
problem.
You have
Voltaire.
a fucking problem. You have a fucking problem every time you come up on Emmett's panel. If we want to get real, if we want to get real about it, because you
Yeah.
don't let anyone else speak.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, for instance, like Dave. When Dave goes up there and he starts talking, Voltaire just spurgs out. Voltaire just doesn't like Dave, and I don't know why. Because a lot of the times when they're arguing, they're like really aggressively agreeing with each other. It's just like Voltaire just doesn't want to agree. He's like crazy.
I've been the one that's not trying to let anybody else speak.
I do like you. I think you're a cool dude, but you're not a productive person to have a conversation with, especially since you've been hitting the bottle a little bit. You are not a productive person to have a conversation with.
But the problem with you and your whole fucking argument is that I haven't actually hit the bottle that much tonight. So
Oh,
that's kind of sad.
dude, you went full British, like Cockney. Don't do the drunk coke. I mean, everybody, look, once you get to that certain point, sometimes everybody does the drunk coke. Somebody will tell you, you need to just calm down. You've been drinking too much. Oh, fuck you. I haven't drank enough, actually. I'm not drunk. You can't, we're already past that point.
Bad then, if this is how you actually are.
No, this has been you and Emmett spurging the whole fucking time when I haven't actually had to be in. I haven't been able to have an actual argument the whole fucking time. And you told me to fucking calm down. You guys have been telling me to calm down the whole time. You guys have been telling me to calm down the whole time. That's funny because you guys have been talking the whole fucking time, and every time I try to make an argument, you say, "Hey, fucking calm down." And so that's the fucking hilarious. That's the whole part. And to me, that's fucking hilarious. So like, the fact that I'm normally the fact that I normally normally do drink a lot, but now that I haven't, and then everyone's like, "Hey, you need to shut the fuck up." It's like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Oh my fucking god!
To tell you that you're an insufferable motherfucker on a panel.
Anytime I give you an actual fucking argument, you just want to spurt the whole time. So that's fucking hilarious.
Insufferable.
Yeah, you're being insufferable. That's
if you don't want to suffer me, if you don't want to suffer my arguments, then it's just your own fucking part. It's your own fucking.
It's your preference.
Slur your words a little bit more, Voltaire. Go for it.
I can slur my words all I want, but you're still the ones that can't even fucking suffer with the fucking argument I have.
You haven't made one.
I apologize, Voltaire. I'm going to mute myself for 5 minutes, and you have all of that time to make your argument. Go.
Why should I make my argument after you've already tried to disprove
He ought not make his argument now. He ought not make his argument because you ought by the oughts of buying the ought of the Bugatti ought.
What the fuck I'm saying through your spurging. Like, this has been it's so
just
ridiculous.
Make the argument. Just make it.
So I'm just supposed to make an argument after all the spurging? Like, go fuck yourself. Emmett, you're fucking retarded.
It's not our fault you have no argument.
Yeah.
I've been all right. You know what?
Actually, you don't have a fully formed argument. You don't, sweetie. Like, it's not good. It's not.
Oh shit. Pulled out the sweetie. Damn, Voltaire. Don't do him like that. Jesus Christ. Like, he's already gotten his ass kicked. You don't need to kick him on the ground that many times.
I've made an argument the whole time. You guys have been willing to fucking disregard it the whole time.
Your argument is my preferences are better than yours because I don't like you to buy a Bugatti.
No,
That's
was
the
never
only
been
fucking argument you have. Okay, and I'm done with. Yeah, you are completely wrong when it comes to this.
And this is when I woke up, because I woke up and I was like, I wonder what Emmett's doing. And I saw that and I was like, well, I wonder if Voltaire understands. I wonder if Voltaire's ever watched Jaws, because that theme song is playing. That's what I was doing. Then I went back and I realized, oh, he got it. I don't have to do that.
It's because you're not understanding that
He got the shit beat out of him. It's all right. I don't have to do that.
you don't have the power to tell people what the fuck to do with their money, and that includes dating. Okay, and when you
Oh, hold on. All right, I'm back.
we're talking about normativity, we agree with you. But when you're talking about the minutia and we're talking about people in general, it might be the case that the guy is doing something and the girl is like, hey,
Hey, guess what? You know what?
Don't
You know
worry.
what,
I'll
guys?
do it
Nobody
this- I'll
has
get it
any
this
argument
time."
for anything. Nothing is ever written in stone, and then everything is.
Hell, to be honest, that's more of what Voltaire's been saying. There's no argument. I don't need to provide an argument. Everything is just everything should just be based on my preferences, and everyone else is wrong.
Everything
it's
is allowed.
preference based,
Right?
yes, right? Because it's preference
Let's
based.
just go with that. No, shut the fuck up. No,
It's because it's
everything's allowed.
preference-based.
Everything's fine. Everything's good. And if I say, hey,
you're not understanding
the sky
basic
is blue,
terminology.
the sky is green, then you guys are completely fine with that because my argument
Well,
says
sometimes
something
the sky
completely.
is green, but
Oh
I
my
think that means a
gosh.
tornado's coming, right?
Sometimes this
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a green sky before. I forgot what exactly it is. It's like something to do with air pressure and the way that I don't remember. But yeah, so yeah, the sky can be green. Get fucked again, Voltaire.
guy
That's
is
Absolutely decimated, sweetie.
exactly
pink
my argument.
and it's amazing.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Yeah, you're a funny guy.
A funny guy.
I don't hate you. I just don't think you're doing a very good job explaining yourself. And I think that you are.
No, I did a completely fine job
okay,
explaining myself, and you didn't.
Well, this is the thing. This is what, like, a lot of people get really upset when people like yell at them or like try to argue with them. This is the thing. Like, that's the way I am by default with people. The closer I am to you, the harder I'm gonna fucking troll you constantly. This is the thing. If you're my friend, I want you to crash out. That's what I want. I want you to lose your fucking mind. I want you to just go fucking nuts eventually, right? That's what I do. I gaslight people sometimes. But like I don't think, especially within this space, if you can't take any sort of criticism, if you can't take any sort of like conversation where it gets rough, like if somebody, let's say it's not even really necessarily criticism, right? Say you criticize somebody and they come back at you and they're a little bit rough in the way that they come back at you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, boy, that fucking dog went nuts. But there's nothing wrong with it. People really need to get a little bit thicker skin online. And me, Cat didn't even do anything that bad, really. Like, really didn't. So I don't think Voltaire would be mad about this. I don't think that the entire conversation Cat ever expressed hate towards Voltaire. Nobody did. It's just one of those conversations that just get kind of heated. That's all that is.
Like you didn't.
I can't even finish a sentence, but cool.
That's been the whole time. You've been interrupting me the whole time.
No, you've been the one interrupting Voltaire. We start saying something, and midway through our sentence, your brain is like, I have to take this out of my mouth instead of waiting.
That's fine. That's fine. So let's look back. Let's look back on this fucking. Let's look back on this actual fucking stream. We'll look back on this fucking stream, and we'll see who has the most amount of time talking. And I guarantee it's not going to be me.
He says that every time, and it's always been him.
It's not going to be me.
saying?
It's not going to be me at all.
I think he does think that I've been cutting him off, but in reality, the middle of my sentences have been cutting off the beginning of his sentences. So I just keep speaking, although he begins speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the kind of
because that's not how it works.
dynamic I have with certain people on JS's Discord, right? Where I just hear them talk, and I've gotten to the point where I just don't let them interrupt me anymore. I just keep talking. Like some people, and Voltaire's drunk or whatever. I think he's just coming up here to have fun and goof around and talk shit. I don't think that, but within that, look, there's always like a structure within a sort of grouping. Like if you're gonna say some shit, get ready for some shit to be said back to you. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with this entire conversation. I think it's absolutely hilarious that fucking Cat just absolutely gutted him and left him bleeding out on the floor. That shit was hilarious. Get fucked, sweetie.
The whole point of having the conversation says you let the other person finish the sentence.
Great. I've made one remark or two, and then you guys spurred the rest of the time. And then
And
anytime I try
did
to,
I not just
anytime
give
I
you a chance?
see, I can't even fucking like.
Yeah.
This has been the whole fucking time.
I'm not giving you the same grace since you're not giving it to me. So let's.
Yeah, at this point in the conversation, like he's been interrupting people so much, it doesn't matter. It's fair game. It's a fucking free for all right now.
Never
Yeah.
gave you.
You
There
never
was no
gave her the
grace to fucking
grace.
give
You
for
never
specific
did.
things.
You never did.
When
I'm
I
not
made
gonna-
one, I made one fucking argument. Every time I made a fucking argument, you guys spurred the whole time.
You actually made no argument.
When I tried to fucking actually argue my argument, you guys were like, "Oh, don't just shut the fuck up," and
You-
I need to be fucking talking.
Well,
I'm trying to show you that you're not actually making an argument. You're making assertions.
That's
They're
great
di-
because
they're different.
That's great because
We're
both of
talking
you have
for-
been arguing
for
against my
example-
assertions the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
Yeah, let
because
me-
you're not making an argument. You're
Yeah.
making assertions.
let me give you an example of
my
an
God.
assertion.
Yeah, and I was awake at this point. I was like, I kind of figuring out how to wake myself up a little bit because I had actually fell dead ass asleep for the whole fucking night. I didn't even mean to. And like I just laid back and boom, it was all of a sudden 4 o'clock in the morning. But I was getting up, I was like prowling around. Or not prowling, okay, ignore that. I was walking around trying to wake myself up, like gassing myself up. All right, time to spurg, let's go. And then Cat was just absolutely beating the shit out of him. So I was like, all right, cool. I could just be sleepy. I could just be sleepy enjoying. Cool.
So we go ahead and I tell you this is preference based. And the whole point of this has to do with the preference of the people. And you retort to that instead of thinking, oh, this is about preference. You say, oh, that means there is no ethics and no morals. Everything is preference. And that is an assertion that wasn't made on my argument. It's an assertion made by
never made
you
that argument.
instead of. I know that's not an argument. It's just an assertion of something
Yeah.
that you apparently didn't go through on my own argument. So my argument is dating and spending money when you have money is preference based. It depends on the person. The only normative ethic in that is be.
You know
What are we
Alright,
looking at right now? Is he like the back of a painting or
if you guys
something?
want to make the argument that the woman should fucking the woman paying for the date is
Mhm.
better, then go ahead.
I don't think either of us ever said it was better. I said I think that we gave examples of when it could be okay. We
Yeah.
both agreed with you that it's not normatively better.
So if you guys want to argue for the rest of your lives on something that's hey, the things that you're saying, there's this one fucking instance where it might not be the things that
It's
you're
not one
saying.
instance.
It-
It's
it's
not one
not-
instance.
It's not
Stop
one.
being bad faith.
I
I'm
give you.
not, oh my god.
Let me give you.
So once again, and I think this is the end because I'm about to come up and then it just kind of died out because Voltaire's phone died or something. So it just kind of ended with that. And but yeah, this is pretty much the end of it. I'm gonna play Hollow Knight in a minute, but yeah, the idea that there is a normative prescription for society, that's totally fine. You could say that it's a normative, earlier I said that I don't think that women should be the ones pursuing. I think they should be the ones pursued, right? Within that, there's a whole lot of other entailments, a whole other list of shit like that goes into why I think that. I'm not going to do that, go through that whole list right now because I don't fucking feel like it. But women should be pursued, men should be the pursuer. We'll go with the baseline of that right now. Well, that's the conclusion of my whole rationalization of relationships, right? So, because of that, yes, in a general prescriptive way, men should be pursuing the woman to ask them to go on dates, right? So, that means the men should pay for the day. That means the man should pay for the day. So, within that, you can make a normative prescription that still has room to have individual instances where the reverse might be true, where the woman is pursuing the man and is paying for the date because she wants to go on this specific date with him. It doesn't destroy society. It doesn't do anything. There's just specific instances where the opposite can occur and it still be okay and well within the parameters of what is a healthy society. So I think ultimately this pickle brain syndrome, everybody suffers from it every once in a while. Sometimes Voltaire suffers from it chronically, occasionally. But anyways, I'm gonna play Hollow Knight in just a minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. They should have said good afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. That'd have been a good one. um Shit, sorry, like had something I wasn't expecting. But anyways, I've been playing this game some while off stream. Shit. Now, I don't know. I may have to go. I'm probably gonna have to get off. Sorry, I just had something fuck with me. Turns out, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to go to bed. I'm gonna have to just separate this out into something completely different. Yeah, I'll probably be, maybe I have to work. I don't have to work early today. I have to work at a normal time that I usually do, so I'm not gonna be super exhausted, and I may end up playing Hollow Knight then. I may not. May not because of, I don't know. We'll see. Um, but Sunday night I'm going to be doing. Let me see if I can get the thing up. Let me see. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But let me see if I can get this up real quick. Now you don't make fun of my fucking thumbnail creation because, like, look, I can't. What the fuck? I'm not good at making thumbnails. Not yet. I have to buy like stuff to make it. But let's see. But this Sunday, I'm gonna start doing this show idea that I came up with. I thought it would be interesting. I'm gonna call it Epistemic Rap. The first episode is gonna be on 50 Cent. What the show is basically me trying to understand his epistemic foundation based on uh, the rap lyrics of some of his most popular songs. Show's probably going to be about an hour and a half, too long, 2 hours long. I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to try to get some sleep. Then I'm going to go to work. But thanks everybody who's watching. I will see you guys later.